Welcome back to the Two and Two podcast. I'm Madeline Campbell.
And I'm Mary Hayes. So this podcast, we chat all things relationships, boundaries, consent, but also we talk about the world, what it's like to be a young woman in the world, what dating is like. So we hope you find something helpful here today. Today we have loads of different topics we're going to chat about. We're going to talk about different things in pop culture. We're going to talk about Euphoria, about Wuthering Heights.
We'll also be talking about gender-based violence as a structure and a system and how it's actually impacting us in our day-to-day lives. And looking at, what we can do and some wins for feminism and women's rights and some hope. Yes, as always.
Much needed. There's a lot to talk about today. I suppose the biggest one that people are talking about probably at the moment is Euphoria. So I don't know, do you watch Euphoria?
I've never seen Euphoria, but I feel I understand it.
Yeah.
But if you want to tell me a little bit more about that.
You're probably better off. Like the first few seasons were class. Like obviously the makeup and the vibes were all very like
the
cool.
vibes are really cool.
Yeah. Now obviously taking all the drugs and like all that kind of stuff aside.
Yeah.
It's a really good series, but the new series, loads of people are saying that basically it feels like the creator, the writer and producer, I can't even remember his name.
Sam
Levinson, I think. Yeah. That he is really just taking advantage of and kind of over-sexualizing these young girls.
Yeah.
And like even say in the first episode, like there's a scene where Rue, the main girl, Zendaya's character, and this other girl, they're swallowing like bags of cocaine.
Okay.
And like even how the camera is angled, like it's up high and it's looking down on this girl and like her lips are pursed and like she's choking, like she's gagging.
Yeah, okay.
And it's like the angles you'd see in like porn,
Right, okay.
And like even Sydney Sweeney's character, she's like showing how she's starting like an OnlyFans account and stuff, even though she's like in this like, lovely looking house. She's apparently in this happy marriage. She's like, this is just what's done. But she's like dressed up as this dog and she has the collar on and her husband in it, Jacob Elordi, is like holding her by a leash and stuff. He's like, you're acting like a dog, like for consumption, because she's like singing, how much is that doggy in a window? She's like, I'm just making a fun video.
It's like overly sexualizing every woman in the show. Not necessarily for plot or content.
No.
Just to
for
be
entertainment.
Done.
It's very, very strange. Especially considering like the audience of Euphoria is...
it's quite young.
It's very young. Yeah, it would be like teenagers. Like, but I suppose it just shows like how a lot of these kind of misogyny and patriarchy and, what women should look like and act like is depicted in pop culture, and then it like trickles down to like normal life.
Yeah. And also what we accept in pop culture or like what we see as like normal. Like Euphoria is one of the biggest shows. I know I've never seen it. That's because that's on me. Probably get with the times. But that's just like one of the biggest mainstream shows. Like every single actor on that is like an Academy Award winner or has been nominated for an Oscar or something. So it's like massive, massive platform. And yet what it's platforming is misogyny.
Yeah, exactly. And actually somebody as well was saying, if I have to watch Jacob Elordi treat a woman like a dog again this year alone.
Oh, yeah.
So I know you have a lot of thoughts on this.
Yeah, I
Tell
do
us
have
about
a lot
Wuthering
of thoughts.
Heights.
Now, just to say, I love a movie with a woman in a big poofy dress.
Yeah, stunning.
That's what I would
Costumes
go see the
amazing.
Movie. Costumes amazing.
Soundtrack incredible.
It's by, a woman director, so I was so excited. I had never read the book Wuthering Heights.
Same.
So I didn't I didn't know what the plot line was, but after seeing the movie and then kind of reading a bit more, like it really is a story about abuse, and yet the way it was depicted in this movie is as if it's sexy.
Well, definitely how it was marketed anyway. It's definitely marketed as, because it came out on Valentine's Day.
Came out on Valentine's Day. And, it had Charlie XCX on the soundtrack. And it's like, oh my God, it's like so cool. And like her whole soundtrack is so romantic and about
sweeping
love. And like, this like sweeping romance. And it was marketed as the greatest love story ever told.
Yes.
And what it is a story of a man who stalks this woman.
Yeah.
Like because she doesn't act exactly how she wants him to. He misbehaves. He treats her poorly. He like goes behind her back and gets with another woman and then treats that woman really poorly. And in doing so, it's all supposed to be like, wow, oh my God, isn't Jacob Elordi so sexy?
Yeah, and so obsessed with her.
And so obsessed with her.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, we've said this before. Obsession is not romantic.
Yeah.
And I think it's really difficult because I sat in that movie and I was like, I kind of like this movie. Because again, big poofy dresses.
Yeah, same.
But like, I can critically watch this and be like, no, that's actually not what a healthy relationship is. Like, it's actually not romantic for him to like, you know, not talk to me for a certain amount of years because I didn't do exactly what he wanted me to.
Yeah.
Or to like, I don't know, push past every boundary I've ever had.
Yeah.
Whether or not it was because of like society telling her she had to marry a rich man or whatever.
Yeah.
Which is also misogynistic.
Yes.
I have a lot to say about Wuthering Heights.
Don't hold back, Madeline.
I have a lot to say. Like, it's so interesting that like the type of content that we're given, it's so rare that we see healthy relationships, romance that makes us actually feel good on screen or like in books or anything like this.
Sure,
like
even like when we were preparing. Okay, so before we came in here today to record, like we were having coffee and we were like, okay, this is going to be a very depressing episode if all we're talking about is gender-based violence and all the horrible things that women have to endure in life. We were like, okay, we need to cut this up with like some hopeful things, some, you know, examples of like healthy relationships. And we were literally racking our brains to try and think of examples of healthy relationships in pop culture. And literally we
came up with two
examples. And that was...
There's two of us.
Yeah.
And we've seen a lot of content.
A lot of movies, a lot of TV shows. And like even at that, it was like some random Netflix movie that was a flash in the pan. Like it wasn't like the big ones like The Notebook, Wuthering Heights, Euphoria, how to lose a guy in 10 days.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not like the big popular ones because they're the ones that show the obsession, the stalking, the, you know, asking her out 20 times before she finally gives in. And like the one example was Wrong Paris. I don't even know if that's what it's called. I thoroughly enjoyed it because I have terrible taste in movies. But basically this girl wants to go to Paris to study art.
Yeah.
And she can't afford it. So she goes on this dating show where she has to like either fall in love with the guy or you take this money. So it's you take the money or the honey. And the guy is the honey. So there's an appearance fee for appearing on it. So she's like, I'll just go on the show. I won't fall in love with him. Spoiler alert, she does. And anyway, at the end of it, they fall in love and it's like the closing ceremony or whatever of the reality show. And they say, okay, do you want the money or the honey?
Yeah.
And the guy kind of like winks at her and she says, I want the money.
Amazing.
And everyone's like, what? Because you're in love. And then they kiss.
Yeah.
So he's like, you can have the best of both worlds. And she's like, how will we make this work long distance? And he's like, well, you know, it's really important. You really want to go to Paris. You want to study. And he like supports her dreams. Like,
wow.
The bar is in hell. But you know what I mean? Like that was literally the only, sorry, that was such a long story to say, wow, a man supports a woman's dreams.
But like, why can we not think of it? It's because it's just not given to us.
It's not almost entertainment worthy.
Yeah.
Because actually love that's like safe and healthy and calm can kind of look boring. It doesn't jump
the
off
plot.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't drive the plot because it's just like safe and healthy and normal.
Yeah.
And you support each other and cheer each other on.
The only other one we could think of was Heated Rivalry, where it was like really platformed consent and, you know, like caring about each other and like wanting each other to succeed and talking about your feelings and like being really open and honest. But like, it's so rare to find that. Or even just like rare to find, not necessarily in like pop culture and movies and podcasts and things we get like this, but even like online, like the content that we get is so specific to like making women feel bad and look bad and making things that should make us feel excited, like healthy relationships, seem boring and vanilla and like, oh, well, if you're not doing it for the plot, then it's, you know, it's not good enough.
Yeah. Or even like, you know, the way that you see like influencers online talking about like, well, you know, if your boyfriend doesn't show up with 5 bunches of flowers, like, what is he doing? Or, you know, that's not true love.
Yeah.
It's like anyone can buy, well, not anyone, obviously, but like people can buy flowers.
Yeah.
And like that doesn't show that they respect you. It just shows that they can give someone money to get 5 bunches of flowers.
Exactly. And then it kind of makes this story in your head like, well, oh my God, like, yes, okay, of course they respect me and I feel good around them and I feel safe around them. But they're not buying me 5 bunches of flowers. They must not be, you know, they must not be a good person. And it's so confusing.
On the flip of that, yes, they're buying me 5 bunches of flowers, but they're also telling me, you know, making it hard to go see my friends.
Yeah, or telling me how to dress.
Yeah. Or telling me to take like photos down from social media.
Yeah.
So that can feel really confusing then because you think, well, they're buying me 5 bunches of flowers, so this must be love. This must be what it feels like, because this is what we see in movies. It's what we see in Wuthering Heights. It's what we see in The Notebook. It's what we see in all of these movies and songs and everything, you know? So yeah, it can be so confusing and hard to navigate. And I suppose that's why 2 and 2 exists, is because we're trying to like combat a lot of those messages and teach people actually what healthy love is, that it should feel calm.
Yes.
And if you're not having like the whirlwind and all of that, that doesn't make it wrong. And doesn't make you wrong.
It doesn't make anything wrong. Everyone says like, be the main character in your life.
Yes.
And yes, of course, you are the main character. You deserve to like feel important and like prioritize yourself and all these things. But being the main character, it doesn't have to be in a movie that tears you down in the process. The relationship that is your movie relationship should be one that's like sweet and like the one you like root for and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy they're together because they really like love and care about each other.
Yeah, and lift each other up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also speaking of online content, because the reason all of this exists is because of misogyny and because of sexism. And all of the content that we get like lives within this structure. So women get this content that tells us, if you don't do this, you're vanilla. If you don't dress like this, you're not going to be appealing. No one's going to want to be in a relationship with you if they don't act this way.
Yeah.
Men also get a lot of content online.
Yeah.
That also upholds this system.
Yeah.
So before we dive into that.
Yeah. I'm like, don't interrupt, because I'm like, oh my God, there's so many things to say.
What is the system?
Yeah.
Like, what is sexism? What is misogyny?
Yeah.
Because I feel like we often talk about it, but like, can we actually break it down?
Yeah. So I suppose, well, misogyny is the belief that women aren't equal to men and that women are wrong and that they're subordinate to men. They're less than men. They don't deserve equal rights. And then sexism is how that plays out. So it's how women are treated, you know, day to day. It's how they're treated by the people in their lives, by people outside their lives, by the systems that are in place, how they're treated by the police if they go to report a crime. It's how they're treated in jobs. You know, are they being promoted the same way men are? They're being paid the same. It's how they exist in their family life. So are they, and we know that they are, you know, carrying the majority of caring responsibilities. So women are not only like majority ones who like raise the children and things like that, if you have children, but they're also doing the emotional labor. So they're the ones, you know, remembering birthdays.
Yeah.
They're the ones monitoring like what's in the house and what do I need to buy. So, you know, when guys say like, well, if you just tell me what to do, I'll help. Or like, how can I help you? It's like that in itself is emotional labor.
Yeah, you have a task. Still.
Yeah, because then, they're giving you work. It's like, okay, well, I now have to explain to you what is needed in this house in order to run this house, you know? But then like this bleeds down then obviously into relationships and dating and things like that. And like the expectations we have around dating relationships and who like deserves what in a relationship. So, you know, for example, if you think about sex, right? So like, you know, women talking about like what they like or what they want or even what pleases them. They're almost seen as like promiscuous or as like, say in porn, right? Like that's depicted as like, she's the dominatrix, you know?
Yeah.
Or she's like the school teacher, you know? Or
like giving out.
Yeah, exactly.
Instead of like just being like, this is what I like.
Yeah.
And like, if that's something that you're interested in as well, I think we can explore that together.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's what should be happening because you asking for what you want or need or what makes you feel good is exactly what your partner should want to ask you for. They should want to know what that is because they love you and they care for you and they want you to feel good as well. You know? What an amazing feeling to know that like you're making your partner feel so good. You know?
Exactly.
But the point of it is that often as women, you know, we're told that a lot of the things that happen to us, okay, like how we're raised, the messages that we're told as we're growing up, the things that happen to us, whether that's, you know, being catcalled on the street or being put down in front of male co-workers in like a subtle way, being expected to carry certain responsibilities at home, or, you know, more serious things like sexual violence, things like that. We're told that these things are our own problems individually and that we're responsible for them and that they're our fault. Yeah. Whereas they're actually part of a whole system that says women don't deserve the same rights as men. Yeah. They don't or aren't smart enough or aren't capable enough or are too emotional to hold positions of power. Yeah. and that it's our fault when something bad is done to us.
Yeah.
And I've been reading this book at the moment, plug, not paid. Laura Bates, Fix the System, Not the Women. And it's really interesting because it basically breaks down the idea that women have become so attuned to everything that happens to us that we have almost kind of turned that part off in our brains. So it talks about, like, here's an example. So it talks about, like, even as kids, right?
Yeah.
The slogans that we see on boys' t-shirts and girls' t-shirts, like kids' clothes, okay?
Yeah.
Which you think, like, how is that something that, like, props up patriarchy and misogyny and sexism? But these are the types of things that we're telling kids from a very young age.
Yeah.
So on boys' t-shirts, these are common things, slogans. So the little scholar, mummy's little soldier, stormtrooper, be your own superhero, little genius, little man, big ideas, king of the castle, hero, I'm super. And then to worse things like lock up your daughters.
Okay.
Scary. So, you know, what is this telling boys? Like, you can be a superhero, take charge. Like, you're the hero, you're the genius. You know, it's about their, like, minds and their brains and their ability and their strength.
Yeah.
And even, like, the imagery that you see, it's like tractors and
spaceships and, like,
things to do with, like, you know, construction or building or creating.
Or, like, great adventures. Okay,
exactly. And then for girls, it's things like mummy's little cupcake, kindness counts, daddy is my superhero, princess in training, pretty little me, I feel fabulous. And then horrible ones like, I hate my thighs. So, like, think about these things that we're telling even little girls, you know, that...
Oh, that's so sad.
I know, that it's like, your worth is what you look like.
Yep.
And also...
And being kept.
And, you know, being married, being the princess, because the princess is married to a prince, being small, being cute, being timid, being shy.
Being kind at all costs.
Exactly, being kind. That's such a good point. I think there's so much pressure on women to people please and to appease everyone and like keep the peace and like look at then when that comes into relationships, you know.
Well, we talked about it a little bit in the first episode this season with Destiny and Ginny, where it was like it's actually okay to be an angry woman.
Yeah.
Like, because there is so much within this system that is worth being angry about.
Yeah, which brings me to another quote.
Perfect.
So she talks about normalization. So, you know, how it's almost like not seen as normal or okay for then women to be angry or resist like all of the things that we have to deal with systematically, the things that oppress us, that prevent us from living full, whole lives free from violence. And fear. So she says, normalization breeds acceptance, not only in society, but in ourselves. We're so used to hearing it is our own fault that we start to believe it. We get so used to it that we stop fighting. And nobody ever tells us that we have the right to fight in the first place. We think it's just the way things are.
Wow.
I know. And that's basically what this kind of book is about, is that this isn't normal. Like that doesn't have to be the way things are.
Exactly. So now we've broken down like what is misogyny, what is sexism. So we're getting these messages like on the slogan of the t-shirt or online. So women, again, get these messages that we should be small, we should be meek, we should be kind. And men get messages.
Where do I start? Men get a lot of messages around power. So, you know, that they're entitled to take up space. They're entitled to be loud and boisterous and, you know, little boys like fighting and running around the place and screaming. And it's like, oh, just boys will be boys, you know? And then when we see boys will be boys later in teenage years, it's, you know, like catcalling a girl or, you know, not calling out a friend for a sexist joke or engaging in like locker room talk or, you know, sexualizing girls in their class, things like that, to things that you're hearing now from studies in the UK around male students saying to their teachers, you know, get back in the kitchen, make me a sandwich, this kind of thing, you know, the mewing thing. It's
so interesting because like in this moment, it's like, wow, we're talking about how the patriarchy and how sexism and misogyny harms women. But like, it is also harmful to men.
Yes.
Like the fact that women have to look a certain way also on the flip side means men have to look a certain way.
Yeah.
So they're getting this content that's like, okay, if you're not whatever, looks maxing and mewing, and
I
your
just learned
jaw,
this word this week as well.
if your jaw isn't cut and you're not 6'4" and you don't have a six pack, then you're not worth anything, which isn't true. But they get so many messages from, all these influencers. There's Conor McGregor, there's whatever, the most ridiculous name I've ever heard, HS Tiki Talkie. It's a bit silly, guys.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a bit silly. But clavicular, all of these influencers that are telling them you have to look a certain way, you act a certain way, because if you don't act this way, you're never going to get a woman to
or you're
like
not
you.
a man.
Or you're not a man.
Yeah.
It's so interesting, what is being a man?
I think it is very hard to be a young man in the world now.
Yeah.
Because we're not taught about this stuff. It's not in school.
It's not a conversation whatsoever.
Yeah. And parents don't know how to have the conversation either. I think people are really struggling. And the problem is that boys are, they've been told as they're growing up all these subconscious messages.
Mm-hmm.
It's not their parents saying, you're the boy, you deserve the world.
Yeah. Well, maybe.
Well, maybe they are. But, for the majority, it's subconscious. Okay. Yeah. So they're growing up expecting this. So then when they're not getting these things that they were raised to expect, it's frustrating.
Or they're searching for answers. And that's what is so scary, is that I've talked to guys in my life and they're like, yeah, I was looking for fitness content. I wanted to learn how to go to the gym so that I could be healthy, and I wanted to run a marathon. Mm-hmm. So I was looking up fitness content, and what I was served was alt-right pipeline, this red pill, which I could not possibly define for you right now, but it's hyper masculinity in its most toxic form, that you have to perform a certain way, and that even within this fitness content, you're getting content that's women don't deserve this, you should dominate in your relationship. If you aren't the one with all of the finances and you're not paying for everything, you're a loser. Yeah. And it's so my friend, who's a guy, goes on to find out how to plot his runs. Yeah. And ends up on this journey to horrifying sexism.
Yeah. And it's boys who are getting this.
Yeah, they're young.
They're really young. Because, DCU did a study, I think we've talked about this before, but DCU did a study and they basically set up fake profiles and set them as male to, I think, 16 to 18.
Okay.
And without even engaging in anything, within 20 minutes they were fed really misogynistic and sexist content and all this kind of manosphere content. Yeah. And then The Guardian also did this study around algorithms, and it was the fact that boys were looking for things. The main things they were looking for was around money, dating, and fitness. Okay. And the majority of content from all these manosphere creators is things about money, dating, and fitness. But wrapped into those is all those misogynistic and sexist messages of, if a girl has a high body count, that she's a low value woman, a high value man, wears the pants in the relationship, makes the decisions, controls his girlfriend, doesn't let him or her speak to other guys, Andrew Tate saying, oh, he chokes his girlfriend, all this kind of stuff. So it's they're not even searching for it, but the algorithms are driven to give them that stuff because that's what the algorithm rewards, is that kind of content.
Yeah. And when you're 13, 14, 15, 16, your ability to critically consume that content, you don't have that skill built up yet. Or you might by some, divine intervention. But of course it's going to end up making its way into how you act. It's not just online. So when we talk about this content and we see things there's this rape academy online, or, Andrew Tate is telling people that you should choke or strangle your girlfriend. That's the only way to have good sex or whatever. Yeah. It's not just online. This happens, it translates into real life violence. And violence can look like catcalling someone on the street, or it can look like, sexual assault or murder. Yeah. We know that this misogyny translates to such horrifying violence.
Yeah, it exists on a spectrum. That triangle. It's the sexual violence or rape triangle. It has a lot of different names, but basically, so it's tiered. On the bottom, it has all different things like catcalling, locker room talk, boys will be boys, homophobia. So, saying, if a guy doesn't act this way, that he's gay, all this kind of stuff.
It's the language is the bottom tier. Okay.
Exactly, yeah. Or not calling out your mates, if they say something, stuff like that. And then the next one up is things like, say, groping or like taking photos of a girl in public or, you know, like upskirting, monitoring, stalking, that kind of stuff. Then up from that is like sexual harassment, sexual assault. And then up from that is rape, femicide, you know, like the killing of women, things like that. So it's kind of like the only way that the stuff at the top happens and is so normalized is because the stuff on the bottom is so normalized and dismissed as, well, look, it's just boys being boys. It's just, well, I didn't want to call out my mate or it was just uncomfortable. It's all that stuff that's like dismissed that enables all that stuff at the top to happen so easily.
And what's really the most uncomfortable is when a woman is murdered. So like if we could address from the very bottom, if we could have these conversations and like be able to say like, no, that's not okay. Like maybe we wouldn't end up with so many women dying or ending up in abusive relationships. So how does all of this translate into an abusive relationship? Because like, I think for me, sometimes it's easy to be like, okay, misogyny looks like catcalling on the street. But what does misogyny look like in a relationship?
Well, I suppose this is the reason that we see majority women abused by men is because patriarchy, sexism and misogyny make it really easy and normalize controlling and abusive behaviors. So the things that are happening feel like not a big deal because they're similar to other stuff that happen every day to women anyway. So say like a guy talking about his girlfriend's safety. Okay, she's going on a night out with her friends and he says, share your location because I want you to be safe. I want to know where you are. On its own could seem really normal and it's okay to be, you know, concerned about the person you're going out, their safety and things like that. But if you already feel maybe controlled or like they're monitoring you or don't trust you.
Or that you just can't say no. Like, oh no, like I'm with the girls. Like I'll be totally fine. Like I'll let you know when I made it back to my house.
Exactly. So it's like that is so normalized then that it's like, okay, well, he just cares about me. But actually it's him not trusting you to make decisions about your own safety. And it's also kind of like a really weird way of saying, well, male violence is inevitable. So it's like, you know, it's like it's going to happen. And if you don't share your location with me, then you're not doing the things like that a good woman does to put in place to protect herself from violence or like abuse from other men. But it's like, actually, it should be the men not doing those things in the first place. Do you get what I mean? Like how it sits within that so easily.
Totally.
Or like even shaming your girlfriend for like what she wears. So like if she's dressing a certain way, maybe she's like really into fashion or whatever, or like doing her makeup or getting her nails done. Like, which is an expression of herself. And it's, you decide what you want to do with your own body. It's art. Absolutely. But say your boyfriend says, well, you're doing it for attention. You want everyone to look at you. You're in a relationship now. Why are you trying to impress other people? You're embarrassing me, things like that. And it's like, again, that kind of like entitlement that men feel to women's bodies or women's appearances. It makes it very easy then for a guy to say, well, it looks like you're looking for attention by wearing that skirt.
As if a woman getting attention is her fault. Because as you're saying, like, it's that men have this entitlement or are like already sexualizing her. She's just going out in an outfit that makes her feel good.
And it's not just for men's consumption. She's dressing that way for herself.
For herself.
Exactly.
I know we've seen a lot lately about like, you know, we saw Grok. It was like a large percentage of the content it was creating was nude images of women. And again, it's that kind of entitlement or that women are just for sex. Or that they are objects to be turned into something for men's pleasure or entertainment. Kind of like what we were saying about Euphoria, that it's not necessarily about plot. It's about entertaining men and their fantasies.
Say with Grok, when, you know, there were those like tens, hundreds of thousands of deep fake images, like nude images created of women and like shared publicly. And like there was no repercussions for that as well. So
I know.
Absolutely crazy. It's normalizing intimate image abuse and also it's creating child sexual abuse materials like child porn. Do you know what I mean? So it's a really, really awful platform. These apps and stuff like that are completely unregulated.
Yeah.
So again, they're normalized. So then in a controlling relationship where you have a boyfriend, a disgruntled boyfriend after a breakup, creating a deepfake image of his ex-girlfriend and threatening to share it around in a lad's WhatsApp group if she doesn't get back with him.
Or doesn't send more images or like a million other things. There's always a consequence.
Yeah, exactly. So it becomes these things become the perfect tools, and they're the perfect tools within patriarchy because there's no punishment for them, for the abuse to be continued.
Yeah.
And then it also feeds into, again, the idea of the perfect victim, or that it's her fault, because it's like, well, you went back to him then. So she just say that happens.
Yeah.
He threatens to share that image and she gets back with him. And then people, say, well, why did you go back to him? Again, it's her fault. It's her fault. It's her fault. Even if she didn't create images like that in the first place, or maybe she did and he altered them, or she took photos like nudes or something in the relationship consensually, and then he shares them afterwards. Then it's you shouldn't have sent those photos. Again, the blame is placed on her, and it's not seen as a controlling behavior that is enabled by a society that says, well, men can do this.
Exactly.
Lovely wins for feminism recently. There's also like similar projects like Two Into You. One of the ones that I think you told me about was Cheer Up Love.
Yeah, it's a really cool project in the UK. So it started out as just kind of like an art series that was like calling out, I think it was photographs of women just explaining their experience of this like everyday sexism that exists. So not these big acts of abuse and femicide and things, but just the everyday, that bottom tier of the triangle that you're talking about, the catcalling. When a guy at the club is like, oh, cheer up, love. Like, I'm just trying to buy you a drink. It's like, well, I don't want you to be talking to me.
Yeah.
So it started out as that, and it's turned into this massive project that so many women have gotten behind, and they advocate for change in the UK. They advocate for laws that protect women and protect women's rights.
It's just a really cool page to follow.
It's so cool.
It always gives me a bit of a boost because I'm like, yeah, it is hard being a woman, but also we're all in it together.
Yeah. It is nice to think about those like everyday acts of resistance.
Yeah.
Like maybe it's just ignoring the guy who tells you cheer up, love. Like that's a win for feminism.
Yeah.
Like it really is. And I think, it can feel difficult to be like, oh my God, like what the heck is going on in the world? Like, but there are projects like this, or like Two Into You, not to toot our own horn, but like, like it's refreshing to get messages that say, just because you're a woman doesn't mean you deserve to be treated this way. Or just because you exist doesn't mean you deserve abuse.
Yeah. And actually, because you're a woman, you deserve to exist just as much as anyone else.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like you have value because you are
a person.
Yeah.
Two lovely pieces of good news that we read about this morning. First one is in Burkina Faso, they've just criminalized child marriage.
Yeah.
So they've raised the minimum age of marriage to 18.
Amazing.
Which is fantastic because it was one of the highest rates of child marriage globally. So that's a win.
That is a win.
Second one is the young Irish woman who is on the Forbes 30 under 30 list.
Yeah. So her name is Agogo. And she won because she has a social enterprise that works to give young women equal access and opportunity in education.
I met her.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, I met her in UCD. So she applied to medical school 5 times and was rejected.
Okay.
And she finally got in, and now she's like training to be a doctor.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of like her whole thing is that it's not necessarily that she wasn't smart enough or good enough. It's that because she was a woman, there was limited access for her.
Yeah.
And not just for this application, but limited access growing up for tutors and for, the right kind of classes, or to be accepted, or to have her hand picked when she was in class.
Exactly. And she's a young Black woman as well. So thinking about all the like racist stereotypes and things that would affect her access and opportunities as well.
Yeah. Still within this system, she's done something incredible. So she said, I hold a deep vision of one day seeing a world where girls and boys have equal access to education and opportunity. A world where talent is never inhibited by background, finances, gender, or geographical location. A world where young people believe in themselves no matter what. Which I think is so incredible.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
So gorgeous.
So special. So there are wins happening in the world.
Yeah.
And if you want to leave a comment and tell us your win.
Yes, please
that
leave
would
us
be
a
fabulous.
comment. And if you enjoyed the conversation today, if it hopefully lit some sort of a fire in you to go out and talk to your mates about it, leave us a 5-star review. But also do leave us a comment and let us know, like, what gives you hope, you know, for the future? What are the things that you're doing? What are the little acts of microfeminism that you're doing every day?
I love seeing those.
I love those videos.
Yeah.
They're brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're looking for something to do, look up acts of microfeminism on TikTok.
So good.
Really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's another episode. I hope you enjoyed it, and follow along for next month's episode. It'll be dropping on the first Monday of next month. Remember, we're always here for you. Whatever your question might be, we're here to help at 2intoyou.ie.
And if you're worried about your own relationship or even a friend's relationship, you can call the Women's Aid 24-hour national Freephone helpline on 1-800-341-900 or use the chat service at 2intoyou.ie. Both are free and completely confidential.
Thank you so much for listening. Make sure you follow the 2 Into You podcast wherever you get your podcasts. A new episode drops the first Monday of every month. See you next time.